Live look, Gulfport, Mississippi, for you just heard Governor Bob Riley. Here with us now, Republican Senator from Florida, Senator George LeMieux.
Now, we were going to have George on the set with us in Pensacola, but his plane got delayed in Atlanta.
Oh,
Not
we know
a real
what that's
surprise
like.
for anybody that flies through Atlanta.
You cannot get to Pensacola from Atlanta.
Oh,
Didn't
God,
you know
it
that,
is
Senator?
So hard.
Yeah, I should have remembered that.
Can you get us a nonstop flight, please? Delta from New York down to Pensacola. It is so hard.
Do
but
not
anyway,
go to Atlanta.
This isn't about us. I know
sorry.
it's hard to believe, but it's not about us. So we saw the beaches in Gulfport, beautiful. The beaches in Pensacola on Friday, absolutely gorgeous. We got so many emails, people stunned by how gorgeous it is, and yet economically devastating for these small business owners down there because nobody's coming.
Well, Joe, we need to have people come. As you saw when you were down there on Friday, the beaches still are beautiful. There is a little bit of oil that washes up every now and again, but so far it's been so good, and people need to realize that this is a perfect time to come to Northwest Florida and go to the beaches and get a real deal on your family vacation.
Now, the president's going to be in Pensacola over the next couple days. Are you going to be able to go up there and see him?
Yeah, they've invited me to come to the meet with him at the Escambia County Emergency Operations Center tomorrow morning. We're going to have a briefing from Admiral Allen. I look forward to going there. I want to ask him why we don't have more skimmers off the coast of Florida. You know, we're hearing that this Jones Act may be keeping us from getting skimmers from around the world. Admiral Allen tells us there's still thousands of skimmers in the United States.
Okay, let me stop you there, George. Senator, let me stop you there because we've been asking what else can be done, what else can be done. That was our one real takeaway from everybody in Florida. They're like, we're the skimmers. Every skimmer, Don Gates, who's a state senator down there, said every skimmer on the planet should be off of these coasts and skimming this oil up. First of all, you say there may be a reason why, the Jones Act. Tell us about it.
Well, there is a law, the Jones Act, which is a maritime law that some are saying is the reason why we can't bring foreign skimmers to the Gulf of Mexico. That's not true. That provision of the Jones Act can be waived. My understanding, it was waived during Hurricane Katrina.
Okay,
that
so
should not be stopping us from doing it.
What do we do? Is it a money issue? What do we do to get all the skimmers across the world off the Gulf Coast to skim this oil up?
Joe, that's the question I'm going to ask the President of the United States tomorrow morning in Pensacola. It's what I've been asking the Coast Guard. Every skimmer in the world should be steaming for the Gulf of Mexico. Makes no sense to me. You've just heard when you were down there about this plume of oil that's risen up off of Pensacola, off of Perdido Key.
Right.
It's 40 miles long, 2 miles wide. Some of it is weathered, some of it is not, some of it is heavier oil.
Right.
That scares the heck out of me. Why aren't there skimmers out there all over that?
So we need to get more skimmers down there. Again, that was our takeaway from being in Pensacola. Let me ask you, what we heard from the governors was that they've found that the president was very engaged from the beginning. Valerie Jarrett, very engaged from the beginning, but some problems with the agencies responding quickly. What can you do as a senator to keep the pressure on the agencies to make sure they do exactly what people in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana need?
Well, I would respectfully disagree, though, because I think you have to keep the pressure on the President of the United States. He's the commander-in-chief. As we've talked about before, he's responsible ultimately to all of us when there's a time of emergency and crisis, and we have that now. So I'm glad he's coming down to Florida. I asked him to come down to Florida. I'm glad that he's taken up this idea that we put forward about a month ago to set up this fund that would be a revolving fund, put billions of dollars in it to pay claims. He needs to show some leadership, so I'm hoping that during this meeting he's going to get in there and overcome obstacles and manage through some solutions and get us to a place where we need to be, because right now people don't feel like the federal government is doing enough and they're not energized enough.
Well, what do you think of the White House's push for this escrow account? Do you think that could work? Is that realistic? And will BP be responsive?
Well, I think it's a good idea. I actually sent a letter to BP on May 11th asking for something very similar. Mine was a fund that would put $1 billion in, but when it went down to nothing or to 100 million, say, it would be replenished back up to the billion until such time as all the claims were paid. It makes all the sense in the world to me. BP is doing some good on paying these claims. I got mixed reports from people in Pensacola and other places right there in Western Florida. But some people are saying, look, I'm not getting my claims paid fast enough. BP obviously has a financial interest in not paying claims. Okay. We need to have a third party administer it. Let's put the money in the fund. I think the president's right.
All right, Senator LeMieux, thank you so much for being on the show.
And Joan, the president obviously going down to the Gulf Coast. He has a speech tomorrow night. We haven't talked about this yet. Right. It does seem like this White House is trying to make up for lost time as far as their communication strategy. They're really leaning forward.
They're really